Welcome back, Curry Crew. Today we have another delicious recipe for you. Now today's recipe is easy, it is quick, but it is downright delicious. So we're gonna be making some amazing roasted crispy Parmesan potatoes with a sour cream dipping sauce, and it's gonna be your new favorite go-to recipe. So without any further ado, let's jump straight into our video. We're gonna interrupt your video right now just to let you know that we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, guys. So if you haven't done so already, click that subscribe button down there so that you can watch all of the new videos that we post every week. We're gonna post 2 videos every week. You wanna make sure you see those recipes. So click subscribe and then punch that notification bell so you know when the videos come out. And now, back to your video. So, step 1 for our crispy Parmesan potatoes is to take about 8 to 9 baby potatoes, and the first thing we will do is we will wash our potatoes and try to scrub off any impurities and buds or anything else that may be on the surface of our potatoes. Once they are nice and clean and we are done, we can strain our potatoes, and using a paper towel we will dry the potatoes and then set them aside to finish drying off a bit while we prepare our Parmesan and spices seasoning mixture. So into a bowl, add 3/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. Next, add in a teaspoon of onion powder and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Then we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of paprika for a bit of spice, and you can adjust it according to your spice tolerance and how much spice that you want. So if you want it to be a little bit more spicy, add some more. If you want less, add less. And then we're going to follow that up with half a teaspoon of black pepper. And then finally, we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of dried rosemary and oregano. And now using a fork, we're going to give it all a nice mix until it is well combined and the spices are spread throughout the mixture. Once that is done, you can set it aside, and we can now move back to our potatoes because by now they should be dry and we can start cutting them. So now cut the small potatoes in half, and for those that are a little bit bigger, you can cut them into 3 pieces, but if they are small enough, just try to stick to 2 because we want skin on both sides and a face side on the other side. Once all the potatoes have been cut, using a paper towel, once again, pat down your potatoes to remove any excess moisture, especially on the non-skin side. So then once that's done, we're going to take a mixing bowl, and into that we're going to add in 2 to 3 teaspoons of olive oil, and then we're going to add in all of our cut potatoes into that same mixing bowl. Now we're going to give it a nice toss, and we're going to keep going until all of our potatoes are coated in the olive oil. Once all the potatoes are coated in the olive oil, we can then take half of our Parmesan and spices mixture and we can add it into the mixing bowl, and once again give it a nice mix and a toss until all of the potatoes are coated in the cheese and spices. So that's why we put olive oil earlier, because the olive oil would help not only to have the Parmesan and the spices stick to our potatoes, but also then when we start baking our potatoes, it's going to make it really nice and crisp. Once that is done, set it aside, and now we're going to take a large oven-safe baking tray, and into this we're going to add in some oil and just spread it around until the entire dish is coated with the oil. This will help to make sure that your cheese, your spices, and your potatoes don't stick to the bottom of the tray when we bake it eventually in the oven. Now, while we're doing this and getting our baking tray and everything ready, you can preheat your oven to about 400 degrees F or about 205 degrees Celsius. And while we're waiting for the oven to heat up, we're going to take the other half of our Parmesan cheese from earlier and we're going to add it into our baking tray as a bottom layer. Spread it out evenly to make sure that it is nice and spread and that every potato can get cheese underneath it. Once that is done, on top of this layer of cheese and spices, we're going to start placing our potatoes skin side pointing upwards. So the side that was cut open, that's the side that we want touching the cheese because that will get nice and crispy from the cheese, and then the skin will be on the other side pointing up because that will also be nice and crispy afterwards. Once all of the potatoes have been placed into the pan, take any extra Parmesan that was in your mixing bowl and just throw it over the top of our potatoes. And then what we're going to do is we're going to place this entire baking tray in the oven for about 25 to 35 minutes or until the potatoes are cooked, are nice and golden, and the cheese gets crispy on the bottom. Just keep an eye on it. You want to make sure that your cheese doesn't burn. And in order to test your potatoes, all you got to do is poke it with a fork. If the fork can go in pretty easily, your potatoes should be cooked. While the potatoes bake, let's make a nice dipping sauce for them. So take a small bowl, and into this we're going to add in 3 to 4 tablespoons of sour cream. Then into that we're going to add in a teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of dried parsley and oregano, and give it all a nice mix. Last but not least, into this we're going to add in 1 chopped green onion and give it another mix, and our quick and easy sour cream dipping sauce is ready. So after about 30 minutes, take the potatoes out of the oven and allow them to cool down for a bit, and then using a spoon or a spatula, you can start separating each potato. And once you turn it over, you can see the amazing crispy Parmesan side of our potatoes. And let me tell you guys, it smells so good. I wish we had smell-o-vision so you guys could experience this with us, but man, oh man, it is awesome. So we're not going to delay this any further. Let's plate this up with our sour cream dipping sauce and let's dig right in. So guys, here we have our potatoes. Oh my god, they smell so good because of the seasonings that we added in our Parmesan mix that we made. And we have our dipping sauce right here as well. I am not going to wait anymore. I want to dig right in. I'm going to take a potato, dippy dip. Oh my god, guys. That is amazing. It is cheesy. It has so many different flavors because of all the seasonings we added. And then the sour cream is perfect to go with this because it helps cut through the cheesiness and the spices while giving like a nice cooling effect. It is so good. I guarantee you, once you make this, you're gonna run out so fast because everyone's gonna dig in right away. So you guys definitely need to try this out for yourself at home. Let us know how it turns out for you and keep on cooking.